welcome to another episode of Erongo Talk. I'm your host, Irene-Mari van der Walt, and I'm joining you from a misty Walvis Bay Waterfront today. So this misty Monday morning marks Embrace Your Geekness Day. So in today's episode, as always, I will be bringing you your weather, news, and tides, and then we'll be speaking with three very, very passionate ladies about the pro-life side of the current abortion debate. So stay right there. We'll be right back. In today's news, we hear a little bit more about the Erongo regional strategy to containing and mitigating the COVID-19 pandemic in the region. So this is said to be quite a bit of a differentiated approach with focus on prevention of new infections, containment, mitigation and recovery in the hotspots. So that would presumably be Walvis Bay, as Walvis Bay has been named the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic in Namibia. The regional response contains 10 overarching strategic priorities or pillars. So these are coordination, logistics, mental health and psychosocial support, risk communication and community engagement, security clusters, and infection prevention. But COVID-19 is quite a battle for the region at the time, with more isolation and quarantine facilities being needed. So there are several people known to be in Kwisatmund who are still waiting for isolation as they have been tested for COVID-19. The Ministry of Health and Social Services says that they have found that there's about 20 to 30 contacts per positive case of COVID-19. So each positive case was then in contact with 20 to 30 people. 127 fishermen who were chartered in for a crew change apparently also have received written permission from the Minister of Health and Social Services, Kalumbisha Gula, to execute the crew change. So this has been in the headlines for quite a bit, where the crew members were stranded on the boat and they could not execute the crew change that the 127 crew members were flown in for. So then in some not COVID-19 related news, the Nedbank Swakop Food Fest could not take place this year because of COVID-19, but they have decided to engage their exhibitors and engage their beloved foodies in the form of a cookbook. So this seems to be a first for Namibia, but we cannot confirm that yet. But in this book there's about 15 chefs who have been engaged, and Dalian Stefanos, an organizer of the Swakop Food Fest, says that several cooks have been engaged and that this book will mainly focus on the culinary culture of Namibians, but that several other cultures and chefs from several other cultures have also been included. So the hardcover book will cost you about $200 and is said to be released in September, but pre-orders open early in August. So if cooking isn't your ball game, maybe gaming is. So a self-taught video game developer, Johnny Bernarda, has released his first game called IB Helper. So IB Helper is about a robot, and the player plays as a robot. So you come down to an alien planet and then you have to help others who have stranded on this alien planet. So the IB Helper helps with basic things like moving things and welding things and building things and breaking things down, basically just to assist in the small little pettier tasks of helping people go back home from a desert island. So Johnny then says that this game took him about 2 years to develop, and it wasn't about the concept of the game itself to him, but it was about taking something and finishing it. So he says that procrastination is quite a big problem for game developers, and that the IB Helper was a point for him to prove to himself. So he also says that he is busy with the next project where you live on an alien planet, and this is then an island on an alien planet, very tropical, and then your basic task is to survive. So he also says that he would like for this to be very human in a way, that you are affected by what goes on around you. For example, direct sunlight makes you hotter, rain makes you colder, things like that, and you have to regulate and survive. So that'll be all for your news for today. So today we are here with three very passionate ladies, Marion, Renelle, and Acel, and they are going to present to us the pro-life side of the current abortion debate. So Marion, could you tell us a little bit about the pro-life debate, what it is built on, the concepts behind it?
Pro-life actually stands for the protection of human life from conception up to natural death. So we believe that which is actually proven by science, that human life starts at conception. And we personally feel like we want to encourage people to base their views on science, which is modern science. And the slogans of the pro-abortion movement is that they say, oh, it's my choice, it is my body. I think we have to put it very clear that it is my body, but inside my womb there's another person growing. So do I really have the right to kill this person growing inside of me? As a mother, is the person growing in my womb, is it property? Is it my own property? Or rather, is it a separate person with its or her own rights? So I really feel very strongly about this. Also, I brought you some quite interesting material. This now is a 6 to 7 week old baby, and you can clearly see that the fingers are developed already, and the head is there. And then they say from 21 weeks on, the baby's heart starts beating. So many women, they don't even know that they are pregnant with like 21 weeks. And 21 days, sorry. And with like 8 to 10 weeks, the nervous system is kind of perfect, which means I think everybody considering abortion has to know this fact that the baby can feel pain like from 8 to 10 weeks on, which makes it a painful procedure for the unborn child, an abortion. And I think this fact is never ever mentioned. Mm-hmm. Then I think if we label, or we are able to label people in our society according to being wanted or unwanted, I think it's a very, very slippery slope, because now if we take the first step, we say, so okay to abort your child, but the next step will be, okay, I've got a grandmother at home, she's old, she's a burden, I cannot go to work, like she's in my way. So next step would be, okay, why not legalize euthanasia? I mean, what is her life worth? So if we start discussing about the worth of human life, I think we've lost it all. Mm-hmm. So if we do not protect human life right from the beginning up to the end, so what are all our laws actually, our freedom laws, our right to life laws for me it's not logical. And then I just wanted to say one last thing. The unborns, they do not have a voice. So the pro-life movement is actually the voice of the unheard, of the unborn baby in the womb. If you could put a microphone in a mother's womb and interview this baby, I'm sure would tell you, no, I want to live, I'm a person, I've got a choice. What about my choice to live? Mm-hmm. So I think this really has to be made very clear. And the last thing I want to mention is that abortion does not make you unpregnant. So once you are pregnant, and you are expecting a child. If you call it a fetus or embryo or whatever you want to call it, but you are pregnant, you're expecting a baby. Abortion doesn't make you unpregnant, but it makes you the mother of a dead child. And if you want to believe it or not, your subconsciousness doesn't forget that. Yeah. You can fool your consciousness, you can argue whatever you want to, but I talk from experience. Some women only got pregnant once, and they had this child aborted, and for the rest of their lives they were sterile. So there are many aspects to consider. Okay, thank you.
So, Ronel, ons Afrikaanse bokkie, gaan vir ons bietjie vertel. Sy is die stigter van Ruach Elohim, wat weggooi babas en ongewenste babas inneem. So, hulle is dan ook geken vir die konsep van die baba box. So, in English, Ruach Elohim has a baby box, where you can, as a mother who does not want their child, you can leave your baby in the baby box, and then the Ruach Elohim will take care of your child and ensure that your child safely gets into the adoption system. So Ronel, ja, kan jy vir ons bietjie meer vertel oor Ruach Elohim en julle siening op abortus?
Baie dankie. Ja, ons voel baie sterk oor die reg tot lewe. Ek voel, as ons kyk na die community daar buite, die mensdom, ek is seker nie een en almal was beplan en gewenste babas nie. Ek dink daar is baie babas wat onbeplan is. En hier loop ons vandag almal. En die feit dat ons vandag hier kan sit, wys net vir my dat ons het die genade by ons moeders ontvang om te kan lewe. Hulle het nie ons lewe beëindig omdat ons dalk ongerieflike tyd gekom het nie. En ek voel net vandag lewe is so ontsettend heilig dat ek kan nie dink dat enige mens, ek kan eintlik nie dink dat hierdie debat enigstens eers op die politieke tafel voorgelê kan word nie. Vir my gaan dit oor die oomblik as daar bevrugting plaasvind, is daar lewe en nie een van ons het mag oor lewe en dood nie. Ons het nie die reg om 'n lewe te neem nie. En ek voel net Namibië het regtig tot sover baie goed gedoen in die opsig van daar soveel dinge wat hulle ander opsies wat hulle moontlik maak vir mamas met buiteegtelike babas, ongewenste of onbeplande babas. Ons het byvoorbeeld 2019 het hulle die wet gewysig op babastorting, sodat 'n mamma mag nou anoniem haar baba op 'n veilige plek los. Waar in die verlede moes jy maar die babatjie huis toe gevat het, of dan het ons hierdie baie babastortings gekry, waar die mamma die baba eenvoudig op 'n onveilige plek, soos in 'n astrom los, en die baba gaan dood en sy moet vervolging in die gesig staar. Waar nou is dit baie makliker, jy mag jou baba op 'n veilige plek los. Met ander woorde, sou jy onbeplan swanger raak, of jy kan nie hierdie baba bekostig nie, is daar geen rede hoekom jy hierdie baba van kant moet maak nie. Daar's geen rede hoekom jy hierdie baba moet aborteer of doodmaak nie. Oor die eenvoudige rede, dra die baba, gee geboorte aan die baba en los die baba dan in die hospitaal, by 'n polisiestasie of by 'n veilige plek soos ons plek. En jy kan aangaan met jou lewe. Niemand het ooit gesê as jy onbeplan swanger raak, jy moet die baba grootmaak nie. Maar ja, dis baie hartseer dat mense almal skree aborsie, maar dit is almal mense wat ook die reg tot lewe gekry het. Niemand het hulle doodgemaak nie. En ek dink net dis verskriklik hartseer, want wat leer ons vir ons kinders daaruit? As ons aborsie gaan wettig, dat lewe maak nie saak nie. Dit maak nie saak nie. Jy kan 'n lewe beëindig as hy in jou pad is, en dit is soos Marion gesê het, wat is volgende? As dit vir my ongerieflik is, of iemand is in my pad, of ek hou nie van daai een nie, maak hom eenvoudig dood. Waar daar is alternatiewe opsies. Ons het ook die aannemingsprosedures wat beskikbaar is, daar's pleegsorgprosedures. Ons het by Ruach Elohim, ons het ons huis oopgestel vir ongewenste babas, onbeplande swangerskappe, en ek kry geweldig baie navraag daaroor. Ons het inteendeel 'n baba boks in die muur gesit, waar jy kan selfs jou babatjie anoniem kom los. So jy hoef nie vir my te sê wie jy is nie. En daai baba boks is absoluut daar om niemand te ontbloot nie. Dis nie daar om die mamma te ontbloot nie. Dis absoluut daar om die mamma te help om anoniem te bly, maar ook om die babatjie op 'n veilige plek te los. So in plaas daarvan dat mammas nou gaan en hulle babas doodmaak, en sy moet met hierdie ding loop vir die res van haar lewe, tot die dag wat sy doodgaan, gaan sy elke dag daaraan dink. Of sy kan haar baba in die boks kom sit, en sy weet dat daai babatjie word versorg met baie liefde, en ons hou die baba of die baba word op 'n veilige plek in 'n plek van veiligheid geplaas totdat die babatjie dan deur 'n liefdevolle familie aangeneem kan word. So daar is vir my geen reg enigstens ooit nog gewees dat 'n baba geaborteer moet word nie. Ek weet baie meisies het die siening van dit is net 'n tissue of 'n klomp selle of die feit bly staan is as dit nie 'n baba is nie, dan is dit nie 'n swangerskap nie. En jy kan nie enigiets anders aborteer as 'n swangerskap nie. So ja, abortus sê baie duidelik, dit is die voortydige vrugaftreywing of die beëindiging van 'n menslike swangerskap. En dit sê vir my dat dan is jy swanger, daar is lewe. Ek dink net as Namibië dit gaan wettig, dan gaan dit absoluut 'n aanmoediging wees vir verdere losbandige lewe. Ons leer ons kinders, jy hoef geen verantwoordelikheid te vat vir jou dade of jou besluite nie. Jy kan losbandig aangaan en navorsing het bewys dat soveel vrouens wat aborsies ondergaan ongelooflike probleme na die tyd het. Sielkundige probleme, geestesgesondheidstoestande en ek dink nie Namibië is reg vir dit wat gaan kom as hulle aborsies wettig nie. Mamas gaan hulle gaan terug en hulle dis dwelmmisbruik, is drankmisbruik, dis nog aborsies en op die ou en baie van hulle pleeg selfmoord. Want ons is nie gemaak om iemand dood te maak nie. Ek bedoel dood dryf absoluut in teen lewe en daarom is geen aborsie verstaan nodig in 'n geval waar daar soveel ander opsies is nie. Namibië het ook hulle kant van die dink ek skoon gehou in die feit dat baie mense sê maar wat as jy verkragt word? Dit is wettig. Namibië het dit reeds na dit ook gekyk. So daar is uitsonderings waar aborsie wettig gedoen kan word. So ek verstaan glad nie waarom die warm debat nou gaan oor enige ander aborsies wat ongerieflik of ontydig of inconvenient is, dat sulke babas doodgemaak moet word nie. Ek glo ook elke mens op aarde het 'n doel waarom hy op hierdie aarde is. En ek dink baie van ons is te bang om op te staan om te sê ons staan dit teë. En Albert Einstein het eintlik so mooi gesê, die probleem daar buite in 'n wêreld wat skeefloop is nie die mense wat verkeerd doen nie. Dis die ouens wat stil sit en niks doen en nie opstaan vir dit nie. En ja, dit is vir my baie hartseer dat ons op hierdie punt gekom het waar ons enigstens so iets moet bespreek. Weet jy, as ek kyk na die babas wat ons al gehad het by Ruach Elohim, dit is absoluut gaan my verstand te bowe om te sit met daai babietjie en om te dink iemand kon jou doodgemaak het. Iemand kon jou lewe weggevat het net omdat sy kon. Dis so ongelooflike kosbare iets wat ons het is 'n nuwe lewe. En ek bedoel jy weet die babas word aangeneem. Ons het nou die dag 'n baba gehad wat vir ons kom kuier het saam met die nuwe ouers 'n jaar en 'n half later en is ongelooflik om te sien watter lewe sy het. En dan dink ek, ek wens ek kan haar mamma 'n klop op die skouer gee en sê, well done. Kyk wat het jy vir jou kind gedoen. Jy het haar 'n kans op lewe gegee, 'n kans wat ons almal gekry het. Ons ma's het nie een van ons doodgemaak nie. Hoekom moet ons enigstens eers so iets oorweeg, terwyl daar ander opsies is?
So then, Ronel, the other options for parents who are not close to Ruach Elohim, who are not at the coast, who cannot leave their babies with you, they can then leave them at a police station or a hospital to have them safely entered into the adoption system. So, Azel, you have worked as a post-abortion counselor, yes. And could you tell us a little bit about the issues that women who abort experience in your own experience?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to share this experience. I would like to say that in case of abortions, it's not such an easy solution as many people think, and therefore I would like to talk a bit more about the consequences of such a what they call choice as abortion. First of all, we're talking about physical consequences related to physical health of ladies. As we know that unlike men, every woman has those like monthly cycles where different hormones are produced by body for different purposes, and like if we talk before the ovulation, there is the body produces what we call follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, estrogens, and then when ovulation happens and if conception takes place, like in these beautiful pictures that Marian showed, then body prepares for motherhood, producing high amounts of progesterone, and so the whole female body is preparing to welcome the baby into the world, and it affects the whole woman's body, including breast and changes in uterus and all that. So when then we do such a harsh intervention as abortion, not only does it kill, according to the science of embryology, living being, it also causes massive stress and shock into a female body and to her hormonal state, because now just by taking the baby out, in case of natural birth, everything happens naturally, again, with the effect of work of the different sets of hormones. And when we just do that very harsh intervention into her body, then the body in that shock, and it actually damages female health more than anything. Another thing which I wanted to say is that even for a state, like in USSR, for example, USSR was the first country to legalize abortions in the world in 1924. And since there were no money available for contraception, abortions basically were means of contraception. And if you were married during USSR, you could end up then having 5, 10, 15, 20 abortions. I know a lady in post-abortion counseling who counseled ladies in Ukraine, Russia, which could basically remember doing 40 abortions. And you cannot say it doesn't ruin your relationship with living children and with your spouse. And none of the women who did abortions could ever come and say it improved our financial situation drastically. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for being here with us today. That was Marian, Ronelle, and Asel on the pro-life argument. Weather and time set at exactly 30 minutes past 6 tonight. Maximum of 29 degrees with a south-southeasterly wind expected for today. A minimum of 7 degrees and a maximum of 30 degrees expected for tomorrow. Karibib saw sunrise at 35 minutes past 7 this morning, and sunset is expected at 29 minutes past 6 tonight. A maximum of 27 degrees Celsius with a south-southeasterly wind prevailing. A minimum of 6 degrees and a maximum of 28 degrees expected for tomorrow. Lastly, Maruru saw sunrise at 34 minutes past 7 and expects sunset at exactly 30 minutes past 6 tonight. Maximum of 28 degrees Celsius with, again, a south-southeasterly wind prevailing. Minimum of 3 degrees and a maximum of 28 degrees Celsius. So it's quite cold in the Erongo region with a cold front still being expected. So that is your weather and tides. That brings us to the end of yet another episode of Erongo Talk. Remember that you can find us online at www.erongo.com.na. I'll repeat, www.erongo.com.na. You can also get in touch with us for advertisement opportunities or for your news tip-offs at 0811 7040. That's 0811 7040. Remember that you can like our Facebook page and that you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. So also don't forget that tomorrow you can anchor yourself in front of your screen again at 12 o'clock for another exciting episode of Erongo Talk. Until we see you tomorrow, please adhere to safety and health regulations, and please adhere to the regional governance and to the national governance. We'll see you again tomorrow.